Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to my webinar. I hope you guys are having a great day, wherever you may be. So we have Hina from Karachi, Pakistan, Amber in Vancouver. You're my neighbor, basically. I'm heading to Vancouver actually on Saturday. Mariam in Mississauga, Sana in Edmonton, Tracy in Saskatoon. Hello, hello. Awesome. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, please just drop a hello and let me know where you're tuning in from so I can see that you're here. And then we have on the left side here, there's some polls. I don't know how they look like to you guys, but if you click on it, there's 3 questions there that you can kind of choose an answer. Gives me some insight on where you are in this journey, where your thoughts are, and kind of what the consensus is here. Okay. Tizzy's from Vancouver too. Awesome. Kim from Lloydminster. Where's Lloydminster? Is that Canada or is that England? I feel bad for not knowing, but I don't know where that is. Nazia's in Toronto. Hello. Oh, Alberta and Saskatchewan border. Okay. It sounded like very British for some reason, but I have heard of it. Okay. Gotcha. Like Medicine Hat kind of area. I don't know. I haven't been there in a long, long time. Cool. So lots of Canadians here, or people who have a Canadian connection. Awesome. And I'm just seeing, I see you guys answering the polls here. Cool, cool. Love it. Between Saskatoon. Okay, so it's further north. Okay, so that's out of my territory there. I don't know that area at all. Fort McMurray. Okay, I know where Fort McMurray is. That's north as well. Hello, Ada. Awesome. So many Canadians. How did you guys find me too? I'd love to hear. If you don't mind, if it's Instagram or maybe you heard from somebody or something, please just let me know. I'm just looking at your guys' poll results here. Friend referral, awesome, awesome. Instagram, cool. Facebook, a former student of mine. Oh, who was the student? Who was the student, guys? Name names so I can thank them. Danielle, oh, awesome, awesome. Okay, good. Huda, awesome. My community manager. Okay, cool. Well, all right, well, let's get this party started. Sometimes I do go over a little bit in time, especially if there's lots of questions and stuff. So if we're getting near the end and I haven't answered your question, don't worry. I don't really get off until we've answered all the questions. And if you have to pop off, you can come back and watch the replay. You can use the same link. Sorry, 1 second. I have bad allergies and it's always making me cough and sneeze. So if you do have a question during the presentation, because during the presentation, I can't see the chat box. Sometimes I'll pop on and off just to kind of see, make sure you guys are still there and engaged. But if you have a question, there's an ask a question box right there. And you can pop it in there and I'll go through and answer them in order. And yeah. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started. I'm going to share the screen and then I'm going to come back and be like, can you see my screen? Because I've definitely done it where I've shared it, started talking, and you guys can't see my screen. So I don't want that to happen. So let's do this. Okay. I can see myself now. Oh, that's good. Okay. So can you guys see my screen here if I blow it up like that? I just want to make sure. Give me a yes. Okay, cool. Let's get started. Thanks so much for being here. Okay, so welcome to the webinar. This webinar is about how to start and scale your virtual assistant business. So I'm Lindsay. I am a virtual assistant mentor and I live in beautiful, sunny Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. I'm a single mom and have been working with clients as a virtual assistant, a strategist, and a project manager for 3.5 years now. You can find me on Instagram at Lindsay & Co. And if you don't mind, just so that we can connect on Instagram if we're not already connected already, take a picture of this webinar, let everyone know what you're doing, share it on Instagram and tag me so that I can connect with you there. So any point, if you feel like sharing that what you're doing, please do that and tag me, okay? So I want to start off, this is something that's really important to me, and since we have a lot of Canadians here, you're probably familiar with this. This is something that I'm trying to implement in my business as part of my anti-racism work. I want to do a territory acknowledgement. So although we are gathered virtually, most of us are standing on land that is unceded, and in Canada that means territory that has not been willingly signed over to the Crown. So I'd like to please take a moment to reflect on the Indigenous people and the lands upon which we gather today, both virtually and physically. I would like to acknowledge that the land on which I live and host my business is the unceded territory of the Syilx, the Okanagan people. Okay, if you're in Canada, you've already seen that before. If you're not, you might be wondering what that's about. And that's just something that we do every time we gather as a physical space. And I just thought it'd be nice to bring that to the virtual space as well. Okay, so like I said, if you have questions, drop them in the question box to the left of the chat box, and I will answer them when I come up for air. So let me start off by telling you my personal journey as a virtual assistant. So it's been 3.5 years now. I lived in Toronto with my daughter and her dad, my husband, and we came back to Kelowna to visit my family. I grew up in the area in the Okanagan Valley, and we came back for Christmas, and I literally never went back. So I came unexpectedly with my bag was half packed, assuming that I would go back home with all the Christmas bags or Christmas gifts packed into my bag, and we just didn't go. So obviously that turned our world upside down a little bit, and I needed to figure out what the heck I was going to do with my life. Like go and find a job. Okay, not that easy in a town of Kelowna. Kelowna is about not quite 200,000 people. So yeah, it was like, what was I going to do with myself, right? So I did have some business experience in Toronto. I owned a business with my husband. We imported candy, like specialty halal candy. And so I did have some experience with business, but I really didn't know what a virtual assistant was. And I came across those two words, virtual assistant, when I was just researching work from home jobs. Because for me, it was really it was really impossible actually to work a regular 9-to-5 job, be able to pick my daughter up from school. I didn't really have the support at first because my mom was working a full-time job as a nurse. I wasn't ready to put her in daycare because she had never been in daycare. She was in kindergarten at the time. So I was like, I need something from home. So I saw those two words, virtual assistant, and I was like, yep, that's what I'm doing. I didn't have to Google what it meant or anything. I was just like, yep, this is happening. And within a couple of days, I had my website built because I knew how to build websites from my previous experience. And I was in business. And within a week, I had my first client through a referral on Facebook. And then a week later, I had another another client that I got through Upwork, which I actually don't recommend, but we'll talk about that some other time. And within 6 months, I had hit $5,000 consistently a month. So it really, literally saved my life. So I'm very passionate about sharing that journey, as well as teaching people the steps that I wish I would have taken to make it a lot easier on myself throughout that journey. I did have a lot of other moms, single moms, or women that were thinking about leaving their husbands reach out to me and said, hey, this is what's happening in my life. How can I become a virtual assistant? And I remember very early on, literally 2 months into my career as a virtual assistant, I was like, one day I'm going to become a teacher. I'm going to teach people how to do this. I'm going to teach single mom in particular. That was the thing that was motivating me. And I'm very proud to say that that's what I do now. So I've transitioned fully out of working one-to-one with clients as of April this year. And now I do exclusively mentorship and coaching for women who are becoming virtual assistants through this program via Career Kickstarter, as well as through my membership, which is kind of a monthly membership where women who are in different parts of their virtual assistant journey can join and learn different tech skills and professional and personal growth, right? Mindset, all the things that you kind of need to be successful in any business. So I'm able to do that full time now, which is just so awesome. So that's my quick rundown of how I got here. So what you can expect to learn today. So we're going to talk about what a VA does and who they work with. You're going to learn if this is a career path that suits you, what scaling your VA business looks like, and how I can help you get started. So you're in the right place if you are facing a challenge in your life that could be solved by a work-at-home career. You are craving more flexibility in your work. You want an income stream that has the potential to earn you a comfortable living wage on top or top up your current income. You want to start making money ASAP, and you are actively seeking communities that are diverse and inclusive. You're in the wrong place if you think a work from home career, it will be super easy. You aren't willing to go above and beyond to attain new skills to help you succeed. You don't like it when someone pitches you an offer at the end that will help you reach your goals. You're not willing to work through any mindset challenges you will face, and you think anti-racism work doesn't apply to you. Okay, so moving on. What is a virtual assistant? A virtual assistant is an independent contractor, also known as a freelancer, that works remotely to support business owners with administrative, creative, and/or technical tasks and projects. Okay, so I know that sounds very broad because it is. So I like to compare VAs to Uber. So VAs are to business owners what Uber is to people who need a ride. So a VA can work with multiple clients at one time instead of a client having to kind of buy a whole virtual assistant. I use the term buy loosely, just like they would have to buy a car, for example. They're like sharing this person with other business owners, okay? So it's very, you can leverage that business really well, and it makes it more affordable for the clients. So some common services VAs can provide are social media management, marketing assistance, website management and edits, admin tasks, inbox management, data entry, research, graphic design, technical support, content writing, calendar management, customer service, invoicing, CRM, and more. Obviously, that's a very short list. Like I could probably give you 100 things that a VA could do to support a business. Okay, so there's really anything that you're interested in doing, anything that you're interested in learning to do, you could create a service for that as a virtual assistant. So who hires virtual assistants? So the business owner who is just getting started, so maybe they're just getting started and they need help kind of with the startup phase of their business. They're overwhelmed and need help. So maybe they're at a growth phase in their business where they need a little bit of support to kind of get them to that next level. They lack skills and knowledge in a specific area. Maybe they're not too techie, or maybe they're not the greatest writer. So they're getting someone to kind of fill that gap for them. They want to outsource tasks to make room for business growth. So they've just gotten to the point where they're busy. Yes, they're doing everything themselves, but in order for them to create more room and space in their schedule, they're outsourcing aspects of their business that allows them to focus on things that make them money in their business. They can be located anywhere in the world. So a Canadian VA can work with a client in the UK, or an Australian VA can work with a client in the US, doesn't matter. They could be established, so they could have their own, rhythm kind of going within their business, but they might only need help with special projects. So sometimes they just hire virtual assistants for one-off projects to get something done. So why I love being a VA. The flexible hours. I mean, this picture says it all, right? That's literally my office most of the time. So flexible hours, you literally get to choose when you work and when you don't work, right? If you want to take a week off, you can do that as long as you organize things in your business the way you need to. I get to set my own rates. So there's always a negotiation between clients on like how much you might charge, or, when you're having that discussion. You don't have to take a job if the rate doesn't work for you, right? You can say no. I decide who I want to work with. So you can work with people who are doing work that you're really passionate about, that you really enjoy, or maybe just personality-wise. You can choose who to work with based on like if you get along with them or not. That's totally fine. I decide what work I want to do. So again, I can choose skills that I'm passionate about and services that I enjoy, that I like, that maybe I already know. I could say no to some things if they're just not in my wheelhouse, and that's totally okay. And I decide where I want to work. So if you want to work from home, that's great. If If you want to work on a tropical island somewhere with a little bit of internet access, that's okay too, right? Whatever makes sense for you. And then lastly, I'm the boss. So I love the opportunity to kind of take that business wherever I want it to go, right? So if I decide, hey, you know what, I want to start doubling my income, how am I going to do that? I can make plans and strategies to make that happen. It's all, the sky's the limit, right? So I'm going to share some virtual assistant stats with you real quick. So you know it's not just me saying that this is a great place to be. So it's a growing market. So the global outsourcing market is worth $85.6 billion in 2018. Business owners save money. So when outsourcing helps business owners save up to 78% on annual operating costs versus hiring their own staff, like their own employees. VAs are more productive. So one study ranked the productivity of home-based workers at a 7.7 out of 10 versus a 6.5 out of 10 for office-based workers. But we all knew that already, right? Potential to earn a decent money. The average salary of a US-based VA is $4,000 US. And keep that in mind that there probably is a lot of clients that are, or a lot of VAs that are earning maybe $500 a month, and then there's a lot that are earning more than that. So that's just the average. Work-life balance. 97% of freelancers are happier than permanent employees. Work-life balance really does matter. So it can be a full or part-time gig. So only 59% of virtual assistants currently work full-time. So keep that in mind with that number, the average salary of a VA. That includes part-time VAs as well. So what does it take to be a great virtual assistant? Let me just grab some water. So you have to have the willingness to help, right? You're not anyone's employee, but you have to be willing to support the business owner in whatever they need, right? So being a support person is key. You need to be ultra reliable. Never let down your client. You have to have commitment, and you have to have patience. Sometimes it takes a minute to get your groove with a new client. Have patience to kind of figure that dynamic out. You have to be a problem solver. I can tell you that clients hate it when you're asking every question under the sun. Before you ask any questions, make sure you go out there and ask 2 to 3 questions to Google before you go to your client to ask, right? They should be organized and systematic. So building processes and systems is a key part of being a virtual assistant. And excellent communication. Being a great communicator will help make your business so much more efficient and create a better client experience for your clients. So what kind of training do you need to be a virtual assistant? So you don't need any kind of degree or diploma or certification. You don't really need any experience. A lot of the training that you will learn for skills and everything will be on the job. I know that seems like a lot, but sometimes you learn the most by just doing things and learning on the fly. What do you need to get started? I recommend a computer, so whether it's a laptop or a desktop, and some sort of smartphone, especially if you're doing social media, or if you plan to be kind of on the go all the time and you want to stay connected with your clients, then using a communication system or project management system and a phone app, that's ideal. So that's all you really need to get started. So how much money does a VA make? So in general, you can make as a VA $20 to $50 an hour. OBM, so OBM is an online business manager, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but they'll make anywhere between $60 to $100 an hour. So obviously an OBM has a lot more responsibility than a virtual assistant. So those are the ranges there for VAs. So what's beyond virtual assistant? So I just mentioned the online business manager. So an online business manager is somebody who would be entirely responsible for their part of the business. So if, for example, I had an online store, an e-commerce store, and I wanted an OBM to manage my e-commerce store, meaning they're in charge of fixing any problems. If the website goes down in the middle of the weekend, they're in charge of fixing it. They have to do all the updates. They need to be strategic about it, right? They're putting a lot more value, and if anything happens, it's on them, right? Where a virtual assistant is a little bit different, where you're kind of performing tasks that help the business owner's strategies get implemented. Okay, so it's a little bit different. That's why it's kind of next level. And there are some OBM certification programs out there. Project manager is another step. A project manager would be somebody who manages a team of contractors or subcontractors. So there might be a big project that needs to get done, and you might be managing a website designer, a graphic designer, an email marketer, that kind of thing. You might be overseeing that. So obviously that gets paid a lot more because you're, again, responsible for getting that end project done. Agency. So agency is when you have a team of virtual assistants and people come to you to work with you and your team. So you might have a multiple, you might have 10 virtual assistants working underneath you, and your job is to make sure that everything is delivered on time, making sure you're bringing new clients in, that kind of thing. Okay, so the agency model is one step towards growth, I guess. Strategist, so some people kind of go, and I guess that's kind of where I started, is they'll merge out of the one-to-one works, but actually the done-for-you services, and they'll go into just like providing strategies, being like, I'll create a roadmap for you. So you're paying me for my brain and my experience in this particular aspect of business, okay? And then the other direction that I went is coach. So, if you have a knack for teaching, you like teaching things, maybe you become a coach for whatever it is you specialize in, not necessarily a coach for virtual assistants, but maybe you get into email marketing, or you get into just even general admin, like best practice for that. Maybe you start a program, or you start a program, or you take on clients to just kind of teach them how to do that, okay? Now, I'm just gonna pop off 1 second so I can see how you guys are doing. We're all here, cool. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so how do you scale your VA business? So the reason I wanted to include this is not to overwhelm you, because it might seem overwhelming, which is why I asked, how likely is it that you guys believe that you can hit $10,000 a month as a virtual assistant? Like, I want to know if you felt like you could actually do it. And so far, I think the answers were quite, 1 second. I'm just gonna look at it real quick. Stop sharing. Yeah, so most of you answered 2 in the lower half. One of you answered 5, which is awesome. So I wanted to know kind of, I want to basically paint a picture to show you that it is possible, and it's probably easier than you expect. Oops, I better share my screen again. I did that once where I shared it or didn't share it, and then I was just talking to myself. Okay, so I want to show you how you can scale your business, just to give you a window into what a $10,000 a month virtual assistant business looks like. Does that mean that's what you have to do? No. Does that mean that's exactly the path you're going to take to get there? Probably not. But this is just kind of one way of looking at it, and just kind of some of the aspects that have been contributors to that success, which I've been able to achieve myself too as a virtual assistant. So let's get into it. So first of all, what is scaling? Like, what does it mean? So scaling a business means setting the stage to enable and support sustainable growth in your business. That was a mouthful. Okay, so keyword sustainable. So when we say sustainable, that means you're not going to burn out, right? It's a comfortable way of growing your business so that you can maintain it without like dying for your business. Okay, because we don't want that. That's not appealing to anyone. And I'm sure most of us are not interested in becoming a virtual assistant so that we can just like work ourselves to the bone, right? For me, the whole reason I started as a virtual assistant, well, initially was to make money. And then I kind of reset my business about a year ago. And the second time was to live the lifestyle I wanted to live, right? So I made sure that I did this strategically so that I could scale sustainably. So there's 4 things that contribute. First is money mindset. I've come across this so much. We'll get into it in a second, but mindset has been the biggest reason why women in general, but women in business especially, don't get very far, right? And the thing about mindset is that it's totally fixable. Gosh, I'm messing up so many words today. Okay, so you can totally change your mindset. So money mindset is one. So we'll talk about that in a second. The second is building systems to make your business more efficient. Number 4 is sales skills. And I know sometimes that term sales makes us feel gross and icky and like who likes sales? Like I don't like salespeople, right? But there is ways to do it that don't feel icky. I even took a course called Squirm Free Sales Masters because we wanted to learn how to ethically sell, right? So you need to know how to sell your services to be able to sell, to be able to get to that level, right? And then the last part is diversify. So by nature, virtual assistant business is diverse because you're using multiple clients kind of to pay your income. But there are some other things that you can do to make it even more diverse. So we'll talk about that. Okay, so money mindset. So the ability to ask for the value of your work and energy. So we need to create packages that reflect value rather than a money for time exchange. So what I mean by that is, say you only have 20 hours a week to work, okay? If you are charging X amount of dollars for 20 hours, then you cap yourself off, right? Like you can only make so much money by capping it off. So instead of doing that, I suggest creating offers that are packages that take into consideration, yes, like how long it takes you to create something, but also the value that you're providing your clients. So if I'm doing a social media package, for example, this is like, and the social media, say Instagram, for example, is the main source of their sales. There's a lot of value there, right? The client sales. There's a lot of value there, okay? So if you do a great job of it, then you should be asking for a lot of money because that is, again, directly putting money inside their pockets, right? You can find a way to pitch value and showing the value of your offers, like with every single offer and service that you offer. So so again, instead of charging, so say I only spend 10 hours a month on a social media package and say I charge $20 an hour. So that's like, and that's really low, obviously. So that's $200 a month, okay? And that's for me to like put my heart into soul into writing captions and everything But instead, what if I created $1,000 package for social media? That only takes me 10 hours, but it creates so much value for this client, right? It has a strategy. I'm flexible. So if something's not working, then I'll pivot and I'll change like the strategy if I need to, right? I'll do new hashtags. I'll do lots of engagement. I'll actually be your business, like the face of your business, right? So there's a lot more value there. And so when you can ask for more money, then that's how you can scale up your business. So when I say mindset, the reason why it's something that we have to really consider is because it's usually just our beliefs and, self-limiting beliefs. If you've ever heard that term, it's usually our beliefs that stop us from asking for those higher rates and higher packages, right? So we need to make sure that before we go out and ask for our $1,000, $2,000 packages, that we really believe that the value is there. And we really believe that we deserve that and we earn that. So there are things that you can do to kind of get kind of more mentally strong in that aspect, right? And if your money mindset is not the greatest, it's okay, because I think all of us business owners have been there, right? So this is something that you have to learn along the way, and it kind of grows with your business. Okay, so money mindset is huge. Systems. So creating systems and processes in your VA business will allow you to work more efficiently, less stress, and potentially outsource to a team. So if you've ever done something for the first time, you're like scrambling and it feels stressful and you're like, I don't know what the steps are. It makes me nervous. I have to like Google every step and it's stressing me out, and it takes a lot longer than you expected. And it's just like not pretty, right? You've all done that where you've been asked to do something by a boss or by a client if you're already working as a virtual assistant and you're just trying to figure it out on the go. If you create systems and steps in your business, and not just like the side where you're working on the client stuff, But if you create processes even on the back end, like, how you onboard your clients, how you, what are the steps for your sales process? What are the steps for your financial, like, bookkeeping process, right? If you create these steps, you'll be able to work a lot faster because you know what happens next. You never miss a step. You never have to like sit there and worry and wonder if you've gone, if you've done this or if you've missed a step. You'll be able to work a lot faster, like I said, less stress, and eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to start outsourcing to your own team. And that has been really important, like a big piece of the puzzle for me, how I've been able to scale beyond $5,000 is by outsourcing to a team member for parts of my business, as well as outsourcing to a subcontractor for the parts of my business where I'm working on client work. Okay, so building those systems and those steps is vital. Stellar sales skills. So there's a right way and a wrong way to sell. You can't get away with poor sales skills and lack of confidence with high ticket packages. And it can all be learned. So that's the good news there. So I know a lot of you had said that you're not sure if you could get clients. This is something that has to be practiced like any other thing, right? That's why they call it a skill, right? You're not going to know how to sell to people until you start doing it. You start learning about it. The biggest thing with selling is to make sure that you're able to convey what their pain point is. Like, so what is their challenge? Make sure you understand it. And how are your services going to help with that pain point and help with those challenges, right? So you need to be able to do that confidently so that they're like willing, especially with selling high ticket packages, so that they will be like, yes, I have confidence that you will be the one to fix my problem with this. Like, maybe their problem is that they're not that great. They're not that techie. They want to set up like a funnel for email marketing. They know that it'll sell things passively for them, but they just like to learn how to do that all. Like, yes, they could buy a course and learn how to do it, but they just like don't have the time or the care or the interest to do that, right? If you can come in there and be like, hey, I will take this over and here's the process and the steps of how I do it, and I've got this for you. Do you want in? They'll be like, yes, you're the one, right? So again, you can learn that all, especially when you really narrow down on who your ideal client is and what niche you're servicing, like what offers you're servicing them that are very niche meaning very specific, okay? So again, that can all be learned. So don't stress about finding clients right now. That'll come and you will learn that as you go, okay? And diversify. So I thought this was a really important piece of the puzzle for me. And again, it's not the same for everyone, but this was an important piece of the puzzle for me that helped me get to that next level. Diversifying your business means adding multiple streams of income. There are many ways you can diversify as a VA business to create passive income or additional income that doesn't require your time. So that's important there, right? Not adding more work to your plate. So something as easy as like a mini course. So if you're kind of have that teaching gene where you like to teach people things, you can create an easy little course to sell on the side. You can do even VIP days. So VIP days are when you book off an entire day for a client and you do like a really intensive day with them where you either teach them things or you set up things for them. Some people have done website in a day type packages. Some people do Pinterest in a day packages where you set up their Pinterest, you get them going, you teach them how to do it and everything. You spend a whole day with them, right? It could be as easy as creating like resources, like templates for things in Canva or written templates, outlines, copyright templates, right? So you see what I'm saying here? There's a lot of things that you can do that just kind of create another income. So for me, I added a membership. That was my first kind of way to diversify. And then I added a course and I was still doing one-on-one work. And then since then I realized that that's what I like to do the most. So I've completely transitioned out. But again, that is the thing that I think that helped me really push me over the edge was adding additional streams of income to my business. So the VA potential to hit 10K. So here's the secret. Once you hit $5,000 a month, you can hit 10K a month. Because I'm going to assume that once you hit $5,000 a month, you have some experience under your belt, you have some processes in place, you are ready to ask for more money because you've asked for those, you've asked for a few packages that are a little bit higher. So it's not that big of a deal to kind of go to that next level. So maybe you bring on a subcontractor to help you with some of your client work. So I put some examples here of what 10K might look like. So you might have 10 clients at $1,000 and you're like, oh my God, 10 clients, like that's a lot. Well, I had a client who had $1,000 social media package and I trained a subcontractor to take care of the whole thing. So I just came in once a month to strategize and give her instructions and she took care of the rest. Yeah, it's possible. So imagine doing that for 10 clients. You could probably do 20 clients like that, right? I paid her maybe, you definitely pay a lot less for subcontractors, which I will talk about some other time, but I paid her maybe $300 to $400 a month. So I still came away with $500 to $600 because ultimately I was responsible for all the work done, right? So in that case, like that's definitely like a lower end 10K package or 10K month, where like you're doing lots of clients with like lower end packages. Or you could do 7 clients at $1,425. So say you have some packages that are worth about that much, right? That seems possible. Like I think we could all handle 7 clients, depending on what it is, obviously. But obviously for $1,400, we're getting lots of value, right? Or what about 5 clients at $2,000? Now that sounds doable too. Like you're probably thinking, like, who would pay me $2,000? Like I said, if you are solving a problem, and if you're confidently able to say like, hey, I've got this, they will pay you $2,000, right? So we talk about this more. I talk about this a lot actually on how to like scale up. Like you obviously would not start at $2,000. You'd probably start at like maybe a lower end package and move up from there. And there's a way to raise your rates kind of in different increments, but you could definitely do this. So the other thing I want to point out too is this isn't just like 1 month. So like, okay, July, you hit 10K and then what do you do next month? You have to go out and find 7 more clients? Like, no. The idea is that you get them on retainers. So you sign them for say 3 to 6 months at a time. And it's like a contract, right? So it's a recurring payment for that period of time. Okay, so it's some sort of service and offering that you do on a recurring basis. Okay, so it's not just a one-time thing. So after talking about this, whose answer has changed? So some of you have said, let's pull up the polls again. Okay, like I said, many of you have said that you're maybe on the lower end there. Has anyone kind of, even if it's like you moved from a 2 to a 3 or a 1 to a 2, like has anyone's answer feel like that maybe you can change that? Like maybe you could get to that point where you can start offering those higher ticket packages. I know it's a lot to take in right now because you haven't even started, which is going to be my next point. Oh, see, look at one of you changed it from a 2 to a 5. So there you go. But, and obviously the next thing I'm going to say is like, to get there, you have to start first, right? And that's, I think, what I want to point out is that any virtual assistant who has hit the 10K mark has probably not started off being like, okay, in 3 months, I'm going to hit 10K. Like they're like, holy crap, how did I do all this, right? Like, I think we've all had that. I've had that same feeling too, right? But the path kind of reveals itself with every step of action that you take. So that brings me to my next slide. Hang on. So the next slide is, before you can scale, you have to start, okay? So like I said, the purpose of showing you the scaling aspect of being a VA isn't to be like, you can make $10,000 in 3 months. Like, no, I will never be the person to say that to you, like, because that can be really overwhelming and you could disqualify yourself immediately because you're like, that is just too much, right? If you really wanted to, it's probably possible. I think anything is possible if you have the right mindset and the right willingness to try things and the right willingness to fail, to be honest, right? So before we get anywhere, we have to start. So who can see the path to grow their VA business a bit more clearly now? Just drop in the chat, say me or something. I'll come back and check it in a second. But like I said, I want to kind of show you guys that it is possible to get from 0 to 10K and beyond if you just take some action, right? Some small actions. So what questions do you have about becoming a virtual assistant? Please just drop them in the chat box there. I'm running low on time. I'm always behind, but that's okay, as long as you guys are okay with that. I just want to make sure that I share my offer. I will come back to those questions here very shortly. Okay. So like I said, today's objective is to help you answer the question, is the VA career path right for me? So does anyone feel like this is for you? Yep, yep, yep. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to introduce you to my program, the VA Career Kickstarter. So in the VA Career Kickstarter, you will learn how to launch a profitable virtual assistant business from your own home. So this is the start I was talking about. So it is a 6-week program starting this week, sorry, not next week, this week on Friday, July 24th. And it goes till September 2nd. Okay, so it's happening. So what's inside VCK? So you get access to 6 modules all at once that we work through together. So we do 1 module a week for 6 weeks. You get 6 live Q&A group coaching calls. They're all recorded in case you missed them. You get access to custom templates and resources, 60-day access to our private Slack group, and you get 2 one-on-one coaching calls with me. And this is a new addition that I added last time, which has made such a huge difference in the success of my students. And then you also get any updates in the future as well as bonuses. And there's my dog Mojo. So your commitment is 2 to 4 hours per week to review modules, plus a live call. Like I said, everything's recorded, so if you miss it, totally okay. This is perfect for the mamas who have the babies running around them, or if you have a day job, you can work around all that. So I usually suggest at least 5 hours minimum a week to work on your actual business so that you can get to the, stay caught up and basically get launched by the end of the program. Here's some testimonials from some of my previous students. So this is Kiana. The programs that Lindsay will teach you will make working with your clients not only super professional, but so easy. She immediately took us out of our comfort zone, and because of that, I think really helped me land the clients I did. She encouraged us to be ourselves and just to talk to people in our niche. I loved it. I landed my first client from that first module. Every module has a clear goal. We knew exactly what was coming, and she did a fantastic job outlining everything we would need to know to launch our business. Lindsay will push, inspire, guide, and cheer you on all the way. She covers everything you could possibly need to start your business and sets you up for nothing but success. Faiza said, I am currently working at a real estate office, stuck in the 9-to-5 grind. I had serious imposter syndrome going into the program, wondering about the skills I have that would be of value. I never really knew what it meant to have a dream and to work for it. VA Career Kickstarter gave me the confidence in my skills, as well as guiding me in presenting myself in the most professional manner possible. I was able to secure a client before even finishing the entire course. Nothing comes close to what Lindsay has created here in the VA Career Kickstarter. Hannah says, I was let go of my job due to COVID-19. I decided to join Lindsay's VA training, but scared I wouldn't get any clients. Aside from the skills and strategies for starting my own business, I have also gained confidence in myself. Lindsay's course makes you face those fears and mental roadblocks, and then helps you to shift your mindset so that you can be the best version of yourself. One of the people I contacted in Module 1 ended up being my first client even before the course had finished. I love the one-to-one coaching calls. Having Lindsay there to be accountable was the biggest help. She doesn't let you get away with shortchanging yourself because of fear. No, I do not. And one last one. Aisha said, I'm a new mom and wanted a work from home job. Before VCK, I was just piecing together VA resources online and undervaluing myself. I started off charging $15 US an hour. Now my clients pay me $1,000 for my one-to-one package. I've since launched my group coaching program within 6 months of finishing the course, and I'm truly loving this VA lifestyle. So this is a very important point I want to cover about diversity. So my mission is to create a community that is diverse and inclusive to Black people, Indigenous people, people of color, people who identify as LGBTQ, all religious beliefs and economic statuses. I have zero tolerance for racism or bigotry of any kind inside of my community. I'm consistently working on my own anti-racism personally inside of my community and business so I can be a better ally as a white woman in the online coaching space. I only want to work with women who feel the same. Right now I have two scholarships available for a woman of color, so a Black or non-Black woman of color, and a single mom. So that you will find on my website. If you're looking for it, please let me know. But that closes tomorrow. Okay, so this diversity statement is very important to me, and I just want to make sure that we are on the same page and that you have an opportunity to know who you are working with as well. Okay, so let's go through the modules real quick. Okay, I'm just taking a look at time. I don't want to keep you guys because I want to be respectful of your time. So pre-work, so when you get, so you buy it today, you would get the welcome module right away. So you get the onboarding checklist, intro to the Slack, our online community, a shared Google Calendar, and your expectations and policies. Module 2 is, skip on. Module 1 is your VA superpower. So we talk about what is a VA, the client virtual assistant dynamic, your dream biz goal setting, identifying your superpowers, identifying your target market and niche. We have a guest training on ideal clients with Setup Wine, and we work on validating your ideas and getting experience. Money matters. So pricing, service models, pricing, services, and models. So we work all that out, all those details out. We do financial goal setting. We set up your pricing and packages. We talk about legalities. We have a guest training with a Canadian accountant, Allison Rose. And then module 3, we head into branding and lead generation. So we talk about the client experience overview, the basics of branding, building your portfolio and pricing guide with templates from Basil and Bark, lead generation intro and script templates, brand training with expert Mei-Lin Say. And module 4 is our systems module. So we talk about tech setup checklists, tech tutorials, using the systems to manage your clients. So this is what I was talking about, makes your business very efficient. And then locking in clients. So this is the sales aspect. Sales call template and training, negotiations, and onboarding process and templates. Module 6, is testimonial guest training with Krista Dixon, managing clients and conflicts, work-life balance, and team building, as well as a guest speaker with Kelsey Munson of Pepper. They're a virtual assistant agency, just to kind of give you some other opportunities, as well as give you an idea of what else is out there for virtual assistants. And then we talk about what's next for you. So, hang on a sec. Community. So you'll have access to an amazing community that is supportive and helpful. You don't have to do this alone. So that's often the best part. And a lot of people you'll see in lots of the testimonials, they loved the community aspect of this program. You're not doing this alone. So your result, you will have everything in place to launch and start onboarding clients and make money in just 6 weeks or less. And I also have some bonuses. So 24-hour bonus. So this expires tomorrow at midnight. So it's a little bit more than 24 hours, but hey. So you get a VA skills bundle. This includes a Pinterest tech training, WordPress tech training, as well as, Canva tech training. Okay, so you get these 3 trainings, which actually come from my membership, just to kind of give you a little bit of skills to get you started in your journey as a virtual assistant. I'd also give you a VA mindset bundle. This is a 3-part training with 2 guest mindset coaches in there. We talk about creating a vision board. We talk about your inner critic. And we also, it's an introduction to tapping, which is a tool that you can use to reprogram your brain into from limiting beliefs into something more positive that'll help your subconscious, help you kind of make the decisions as you move forward. So it helps build your confidence. Okay, so it's a really, really cool mindset bundle that I feel like is the foundation of the program. Like, you have to do this to be successful in your business. And then I have another bonus. We're going to do a social media for VAs workshop. This is a live workshop. I actually recorded it from the previous intake, but I thought it's just so much better to do it live so that we can work on it together. We create, I kind of go through how to create content for social media, in particular Instagram, that will attract your dream clients. And then we make a plan, a content plan for moving forward. Okay, so we can do that together. And then you have bonus number 4, which is my Asana course, which is a project management tool, which I feel like is essential for a virtual assistant to be able to communicate well with your clients. So it's called Asana Productive and Powerful. Okay. So your investment. So you have 2 options here. You have 3 monthly payments of $275 US, and you get everything included in there. So we get the 6 pre-recorded modules and workbooks, 6 live Q&A group coaching calls, templates and resources, the private Slack group, and 2 30-minute one-on-one sessions with me. Or you can pay one time for $787, so you save $38 that way. But I have $20 off for the first 3 people who sign up. So you can use the coupon code VCK5. So you'll be able to do that at the checkout if you're interested, and you'll get $20 off if you're one of the first 3 to use it. And I just want to point out something, not to put pressure on anybody, but if you are considering this, now is the time to do that, because it'll probably be my last intake for a while, because I'm probably going to move into some other projects that I've been looking forward to. And I haven't had time to do that. So in order to do that, I have to put this on hold. So this might be the last intake for a while. And it also might be the last one that you get this level of support from me, right? With all the one-on-one coaching calls and the Q&As and everything. So if you're considering it, this is the time, okay? So I want to ask you guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, how urgent is your need for a change? So lots of you guys might be in a situation, or you might just been kind of sitting on the fence about this. Like, how urgent is it for you to make a change? Okay, let me get out of this window. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'd love to know how you guys are feeling. Like, if you're a 5, for example, then maybe you're okay, you're comfortable where you are, you're still considering it. But maybe if you're like anywhere between a 7 to a 10, like you need to change something now, let me know in the comments. We have a few questions here. Okay. So Haley had a question about, excuse me, how to find a client while still working a full-time job. I tried a few years ago, and not being a full-time VA was a big hurdle. So I guess, so this is situational to me. So maybe, is it a hurdle because you feel like it was a hurdle? Or was it a hurdle because you had clients that were like, you have to be available to me 24/7? So as a virtual assistant, I believe in boundaries. There is nobody who could pay you enough for you to be accessible to them 24 hours a day, right? So like I said, there might have been 2 aspects there. It's like, I think being a virtual assistant is actually the perfect side hustle job. Like, it is, unless someone's paying you to work 10 hours or 20 hours a day, or not 20 hours, that's a lot. Say like 5 hours a day even, or 6 hours a day. That's quite a bit. Like, most of your contracts will be spread out between 5 to 15 hours a week, maybe 20 hours, but usually it's more between 5 and 10, to be honest, right? So 5 to 10 hours a week means that you can do the work in the evening, right? Most of the time, you don't have to be available to people during the day, right? If they're the type of client that's like, no, I need you to be available whenever I need you, then they're probably not the right client for you. So that's why I believe in boundaries and setting expectations right from the start, being like, hey, like, my hours of working and my hours of communication are between 7 and 11 p.m. Like, that's when I catch up on my emails and everything and I do my work, right? Maybe occasionally you jump on a quick little 30-minute check-in call during your lunch break. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Or maybe, depending on what time zone you're in, maybe you do like check-in calls in the morning before you head to work. That's totally normal too. But the only time it's ever a problem, like your timing and stuff, is when you don't set those expectations right from the start. It's generally like, it's a 24-hour to 48-hour turnaround. So if someone has a request for you, then they should first of all, they should expect a 24-hour response time, right? Because you set that expectation right from the start. And then another 24 hours to actually do the work. So that's why 24 to 48 hours, and that's normal, right? As long as you set those expectations from the start, then people aren't going to argue with you or be weird about it. That's why I think it's really a great side hustle, because you can set those hours, you can set those expectations. They have to know that you're working with other clients too. So they can't, unless they're willing to pay you to be like a full-time virtual assistant for them, then they can't expect you to be fully available for them full-time, right? So again, I would say there would be two parts of that. It's your job to set those expectations right from the start. Most people respect that as long as you are like, here's my parameters. And then the second part is maybe they're just not the right fit for you, right? So maybe you're looking in the wrong places for clients. Maybe you're not attracting the right clients to you, right? So that can be fixed. That can definitely be fixed. So I don't know, Haley, if that answered your question for you, but it absolutely, you can totally work around your work schedule. That's why it's prime for moms who have young kids at home and maybe they prefer to work during a nap time and then an evening time. It's very, very normal to be on that kind of schedule. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So Amber, curious on what kind, let me push the little button here. Curious on what kind of courses, training I should be taking. I have been doing EA work for years, but it's never included creating websites or dealing with social media. So I see those as a start, but what else do you recommend? So that's a great question. So before you decide to do any kind of training, we work through your VA superpowers first, okay? So we decide who your ideal client is, and then we decide what services that you can offer them. Okay, so if you already have experience somewhere, you might want to start there. And maybe you see, okay, like I want to work with wellness coaches, for example. My experience is like in calendar management and inbox management. So that's one way I can help them. But I also noticed that they need help with their CRM, like they use Dubsado, for example, to manage all their clients, right? So maybe that's going to be your next step for learning. So I wouldn't jump in and try and learn everything because you don't have to know everything. You can specialize in certain things and have your niche depending on what your clients need, right? So I don't recommend that you start working on social media and website unless that's something you're completely interested in, but you want to make sure that the people you're trying to work with are will be needing that service, right? Otherwise, you'll spread yourself so thin. So I actually find it's better, and that's one way to make more money as well, is to be really hyper-focused on like one or two specialty areas, right? So they have to be, and they're usually all connected somehow, right? So if I'm, one of my specialties, okay, so my ideal client is an Etsy, like an artisanal, or an artisan, right? An Etsy artisan, okay? They make handmade goods. Their Etsy store is their bread and butter, right? So maybe my expertise is Etsy for one, as well as product description writing, because there's like a trick to doing it. You have to use like SEO and stuff to make sure that it's optimized. And then maybe my third piece is social media, because I find a lot of those clients like need help promoting their product on social media and pushing people to their Etsy shop. Or maybe it's Pinterest, right? Another way to promote it, to send people to Etsy. So do you see how those kind of like all tie together? And so that will turn you into this like this Etsy goddess that everybody will want to send, all their Etsy community wants to send like their friends to and refer you to, because you become so, you become an expert in this like realm, right? If you become too spread out and you're trying to learn like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, first of all, it's like really overwhelming, and it's just, you're not going to get to what you want. You're not going to get the clients that you want either, I don't think, because you're going to be attracting just a bunch of different people for a bunch of different services, right? So staying really focused will make it a lot easier. So inside the program, we make a learning plan for you too, on like how you're going to kind of continue to get your education and like keep learning, and what you're going to do just to kind of keep yourself accountable for your learning, and also keep you focused so you don't just go off and keep learning random things, right? So I hope that answers your question, Amber. Awesome. Okay, so some of you guys have said that it's hyper urgent that you make a change now. So do you know what your first steps are? I guess would be my question. Like, are you ready to make a kind of commitment to this? Because I know, I'm not asking you guys to just like take a course and learn some stuff and then you're good, right? It's like, no, I want you to take a course that will create a business for you, right? And a business obviously is a long-term commitment, right? So I know it's not like an easy thing to just be like, yeah, let's do this. Ooh, like it'll be fun for the summer. No, I want something that will change your life. And, like my last group of students was just incredible. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even like talk about them without wanting to cry. But they were just, all of them were so dedicated. We had like a 95% success rate, meaning like 95% of them actually finished the program, which in the online course world is like unheard of. But it's because they were just all so dedicated to the program, and I was able to support them all individually to kind of get past those hurdles, because a lot of them had the same probably doubts that you're feeling right now. Like, I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm not sure, I could do this, but I would probably be making like a little bit of money here and there. But I want you guys to dream big, right? And I'm a big dreamer. Like the whole reason I started this, everything was because I wanted to live in France with my daughter and I needed a business to support that. And I would be going next summer. I don't know, we'll see what happens with COVID, but I want you guys to have like crazy dreams, and this can be your vehicle to getting there. Yes, it can make you money. It can make you happier. I don't know what everyone's situation is, but it can make you happier because you get to have lots of choice. It can make you feel really empowered. Every little win that you have, especially as a new business owner, is like cloud nine. Like when I got my first client, you guys, I was like dancing around like an idiot. Like I couldn't hold it in. It was literally just like bubbled up. I was like, ah, and I was like so happy. And I think the reason I was so happy, it wasn't because like I was like, sweet, I got $500. Like it was because I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this. This is real. And it's so empowering, especially when for me, I was in a situation that felt I felt very helpless, and I was losing hope, right? And this definitely gave me hope that I have what it takes to fix whatever was not working for me, right? And a lot of it comes down to mindset, like I said. So you'll see I focus a lot on the mindset of things. What's stopping me from taking this next step, right? Am I letting fear control which direction I take? And most of us do, and that's fine. But we just have to kind of understand why are we afraid, right? And then we have to make decisions based on the more rational side of us, right? Because our subconscious is always trying to protect us, right? It's always in flight or fight mode. It's always like, if you do that, you might fail. If you do that, you might look stupid. If you do that, you might. Don't do that, Lindsay. But if you kind of recognize what your subconscious is afraid of, you can make those little tweaks in your brain to get past it. So Maya's asking, sorry, I just hopped on. Are the classes during weekdays? So there's just one Q&A already. There's just one Q&A a week. Everything is recorded, so you can work on it in your own time. And there's one Q&A. They are during the week, but I'm on PST time, and they're at different times. Like some of them are in the evening, some of them are early in the day. If you miss it, then you can watch a recording. You can still submit your questions, that kind of thing. So if you can't attend live, it's actually totally fine. So yeah. Amber says, I am ready, but terrified. So again, I would ask, yeah, Mariam's already in actually. So she says she can't wait for Friday. So if you're scared, I would ask, what's the worst that can happen? So first of all, what can happen if you don't take any action at all? And I'm not saying the action has to be like taking my program. Like, I'm not saying it has to be that, but obviously if you're thinking like, okay, something needs to change. Like, hello, I'm a 9 out of 10. Like something needs to change in my life. If you don't take any action, what's going to happen? Is everything going to be fine? You're going to be happy and stuff? Or is it like, you're going to be like, a month from now, you're going to be like a 20 out of 10, right? Like, what's going to happen? Just think about that for a second. What does your trajectory look like if you take no action at all? But what happens if you take just one little action? And this is what I try and do this in smaller steps so that it's not so overwhelming. Like, yes, I know your first big action is like, yes, and you pay for it. But, what happens if you take one little step at a time? What I've noticed is that every little step I take, my confidence builds. So I'm like, like that wasn't so bad. I survived that last step, and maybe we'll see what's next. And the next step becomes more clear. So what's usually scary is when you can't see everything in front of you, right? So so if you can't see what's ahead of you, that can be scary. It's like those two paths, right? I watched Beauty and the Beast the other night. And there's like the pretty path, which like he could have gone down, but then the tree fell or something. So then he had to go down the dark, like spooky one. And it's like, which one looks more appealing? Of course, your subconscious is going to be like, it takes the path of least resistance, right? So it's going to take the happy path where it knows what's going to happen, which is basically like everything stays the same, right? But if you take the scarier path, sometimes, you might think there's wolves there, but chances are there's probably not. Or you can deal with the wolves when they come. You just don't know that until you're actually doing it, right? So it's the fear of the unknown that usually stops us from doing things. But like I said, with every step, I've noticed that the next step becomes clearer, and then my confidence builds with each step when I realize that I've survived all the other steps behind me. And that feels really good. Like I can't even tell you guys, since I've had some personal mindset shifts in my own life. Like I used to think I couldn't do something like this, like ever. Like they still make me kind of feel weird, but I literally I'm talking as recently as like last September. I remember being like, I can't do webinars. I can't get on Zoom calls and like coach people and talk to people in a group setting like that. Like I cannot do that. And then one day I realized like the only reason I couldn't do it was because I was just telling myself that I couldn't do it. So then I did it, and I was like, okay, well, now that I've got that one, like, okay, it was kind of rocky. It wasn't perfect. That's fine. And I actually had to let go of a lot of perfectionist tendencies, which I'm sure a lot of us probably have that issue where we're just kind of like, but it has to be perfect before I put it out in the world. Otherwise I could be embarrassed, right? That's your subconscious, like telling you like you're not ready, or trying to protect you from embarrassment, or all the stupid, silly things that it could possibly happen to you that probably won't really matter. So you kind of have to just like recognize that something is scary and wonder why it's scary, and then just do it anyway. And then I'm 99% sure will happen is that you'll be like, oh, like, I can't believe I was so worried about that, right? And that feels really good when you kind of are like, oh, I survived that. And then, like I said, and then you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Like I did things this last year that year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I would have never imagined that I would have done. Like I started a podcast. Like I don't like speaking really, to be honest, but I have a podcast now. I've asked for like more money for different projects and stuff than I've ever asked in my life. I've put myself in situations and scenarios where like I would have never done before. I'd be like really nervous about it because of like the human interaction or something like that. So yeah, I've done things this year that I never expected I would ever done. And I want you guys to look back on next year and be like, wow, I never knew that I had it in me to do this. And the thing is, like, all of you absolutely have it in you to do that. I know that. I don't even need to know you to know that, because we all have that in us. And every single one of you deserve to have whatever it is that you dream of, right? You all deserve to have this lifestyle that makes you happy, that makes you fulfilled, that you can make money. It can be flexible. You all deserve that. Okay. That's my little pep talk of the day. And you'll get a lot of those inside of my program. Okay. Ada's asking, do I have to register a company before I kick off the VA services, or can I just start with my name? Yes, you can start with your legal name. I forgot to do this, but I'm going to put the link here. So there's a little green button that says join VCK 5.0 now. So if you are ready to join and you want to use that coupon code, the coupon code is VCK5. If you want to join me, I would love to have you. This little wall here is my sticky wall of students. It's been great. We've had a few smaller groups the last few times, which has allowed me to be more one-on-one with you. So I want to put your name on one of these sticky notes. I already have a few on there. Hina's one, she's already in here, and Mariam, it's already in here. And I would love to invite you guys to join. Does anyone have any questions about the course, the timing, the structure, do you have any like hesitations or objections about becoming a virtual assistant? Do you have any questions about virtual assistants in general? Like I said, I will stay here until you guys need me to and answer any questions. You can always catch the replay afterwards. Anything at all? Awesome. Okay, well, okay, so Jenica is saying, I'm scared to spend money on myself and fail. So thank you for sharing that, Jenica, because I know that that is something I have felt too. So the only way you would fail is if you stop, right? I am of the belief, like, and it also, okay. So the only way you will fail is if you stop. So once you take my program, if you keep implementing the things I teach you, if you ask for support from me and your peers, you will be successful. You have to obviously do the work. You have to show up. You have to be willing to get a little bit uncomfortable. If something like reaching out to people or selling is uncomfortable for you, you have to kind of step out of your comfort bubble and learn it, because everything can be learned. You don't have to, you don't have to know everything before starting. You can learn on the go, which is the great thing about being a virtual assistant. The thing I like about investing in myself is it keeps me accountable. So I've invested in some programs that are like thousands of dollars. I was so scared. Like I even wake up the next day and I'm like, why did I do that? I wonder if I can get a refund. Like so nervous about it. But I found that investing in myself, especially, when it's a bigger chunk of change, which that's definitely is. This is not an inexpensive course. It definitely is less expensive than some other programs out there. I will tell you that right now. But it keeps me accountable, right? It goes, okay, like if you're going to invest in yourself, then like you better be willing to do the work. Like I make a deal with myself. And I don't invest in other programs until I'm done paying off that program. That's like my personal policy is I don't like double up, right? So I say, okay, like this is what I'm doing and I'm not starting anything else until I've A, implemented this program, and B, I've paid it off. Right. So my payment plans are only 3 months. So that means you have 3 months to start to see a shift. Right. But again, it's up to you to take those steps. I can't make you do that yourself. And yeah, you said, thank you. I've been putting myself out there, but I haven't gotten a client yet. It's only been 2 weeks, but I was hoping for a stronger response. Yeah. And they're like, obviously I can't guarantee that you're going to make X amount of dollars. I can't, but I can give you everything I know in my bones and I can give you everything I can, and I will help you make a plan, right? So if something's not working for you, like let's go back and fix it. Let's see what we can do differently, right? And that's the great thing about the one-on-one stuff too, is we can talk like very honestly with each other. If it's hard for you to put yourself out there, then why? Let's work through that, right? But I will give you everything I possibly know and I've learned, and my process keeps changing too. Like even in the last year, like I've changed the ways I've approached people, the way I've tried to attract different clients. Some of you might have found me because I did some social media kind of campaigns that targeted virtual assistants who have already been working, like yourself, Jenica. So so anyway, I think the thing that you need to be open to is making changes as you need to, right? And knowing like, okay, like I hit a roadblock, and instead of saying like, hey, I failed, I'm done, like being like, okay, like how can I get around this roadblock? Like what can I change, right? And so you have to be flexible to that. And that's actually the true nature of being an entrepreneur, is being able to bob and weave around the hurdles, because there's going to be hurdles for all of us, right? We're going to say, yes, that works, that doesn't work, right? yeah, so anyway, so I hope that helps a little bit, Jenica. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram if you want to chat a little bit more about it, because I hate it when fear gets in the way of doing what we want to do, right? Because fear is something we can control. We can talk about it, we can talk around it, we can work around it, right? So don't let fear stop you if that's the reason why you're not sure you want to pursue this. Let me talk to you first. So feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Lindsay and Co, AY and Co. And we can talk about it a little bit more. Cool. So Maya says, will we be having another course in the fall? Asking because I'm writing exam soon in 1.5 months and I want to give it 100% and also this. So I was saying at the end of my presentation that this will probably be it for a while. I am looking to launch a new program in the fall that is like kind of the next level to this program. It's like a high ticket program, which you'll hear more about when I start promoting it. But in order to take that program, you have to have your foundations built. So that's why if you're like, okay, I'll just put a pin in it for now and come back to it, like you might have to wait till next year then, because I think I'm going to put a pin in this and focus on the next program. And then this definitely, like almost certainly will be the last time I offer this much support, including my one-on-one and everything, because I think I'm going to be allocating the one-on-one stuff to my next program, because it's there's a lot more value there. So if you want the value of working together individually, then this is the time to do it. So, I mean, and I understand other things get in the way, so I'm not trying to pressure you at all, but I also want you to know that this might be one of the last opportunities before I change it. Okay. Okay, Hina has a question here. Is there an underlying assumption in the program that high-paying clients will be based in the US, Canada, UK, or will the program equip us to find ideal clients everywhere? Oh yes, no, your ideal client is wherever you decide, right? So when you're building your ideal client profile, you will obviously have to do your research. You can't just assume that your high-paying, high-ticket clients are going to be somewhere, right? Hina, because I know you're in Pakistan, like there might be an assumption that Pakistani clients would be looking for lower wage Pakistani VAs, right? And one of the things I talk about a lot is I feel like it's not fair that VAs in other countries, so meaning India, Pakistan, Philippines, anywhere in South America, anywhere in Africa, South Africa, right? There's an assumption out there that you should pay them more because their economic status or their economic situation is like they don't need as much money, right? I had one student that was charging $3.50 an hour. She lived in Peru. And I was like, no, I'm like, because you are doing the exact same work as a North American or like a British or an Australian virtual assistant, right? Like, I know it's hard to sometimes ask for more money when you come from an environment that doesn't ask for more money, right? So I understand it's hard to, but again, that's a mindset thing, and it all is related back to how you present yourself. And a big part of the reason why people will pay you more, which is something I teach in my course, is the whole client experience. And the client experience starts the second you interact with them for the first time. Like, how many of you have seen those, like gotten those emails where it's like, I can help you with your SEO, right? You get this like random email from this random person. It's like, and it's just like so poorly done. And you're just like, no, right? But there's a way to approach people, even like cold call them, that is a lot more professional. And then a whole process you can take them through that really blows them away. Like, I know when I would put my clients through my client process, even before I started doing any tasks for them, they were like referring me to their friends because they were just impressed with like the whole process, right? So things like that matters, right? Anybody could clear an inbox, right? but only some people are really considered true team members to their clients. And that's where I want like you guys to position yourself as like being a team member and being an important part of their business, right? So yeah. So anyway, so I don't say like, hey, if you're in Pakistan, you need to charge less. Like I believe the opposite. And I'm working with some of my other students, like I said, who are in different countries that pay a lot lower wages, and I'm working on them to work their way up. And I know they'll get there, right? Again, I think it's a mindset thing, right? And yeah, Hina's saying we bring a lot of value to the table as well. Exactly. So why should you be paid any differently? I don't understand it. In the online world, we're all like a big bubble, right? Like we're all have the same access to things, and it shouldn't really matter where our location is. And I want to change that too, because I feel like it's basically oppression too. If a white client in the US thinks that they can pay a Black person or a non-Black woman of color or man of color, person of color, if they can pay them like a fraction, like I'm talking like less than $5 an hour, even less than $10 an hour is no, like that's not okay. So if they think that they can run their business and make $1 million by paying like a person of color overseas unfair wages, then like that just keeps those people at the bottom of the online ladder, right? They're at the lowest rung of that ladder because they could never afford courses like mine even, right? Or like, some of these people, and there are some white coaches out there that say, hey, just go to the Philippines and pay someone $5 an hour and it'll help grow your business quicker. Like, just go and do that. Like, it's fine. Meanwhile, they're offering courses that are like $5,000-$6,000. And I'm like, so your courses aren't accessible to these people who are doing the work for you. Like, that does not seem right, does it? And that's why you guys saw my diversity statement. And that's, this is one of the conversations that I try and have. And I have had this like personally one-on-one with a lot of North American business owners, and trying to educate them on doing like hiring virtual assistants ethically, and adjusting their beliefs or what they've been taught or whatever on that subject. So anyway, that's something that I believe in. Yeah, Hina's saying that's unfortunately how we are perceived, cheap labor, and that is so disempowering. I 100% agree. And you obviously can be the exception to that rule, right? And Hina, I've had conversations with you, and you're an incredibly intelligent woman, and I have no doubt that you will be worth every penny that you ask for. And we're going to make sure you ask for a lot. Okay. Awesome. Okay, any other questions? I know you guys are like still hanging in here though. Most of you guys are still here. Oh, I see Amber's in. Amber, you're in. Woohoo! I'm seeing them pop up on my screen now. Awesome. Yay, don't worry. She says, I'm in. I'm still terrified. Oh, there, I didn't see you say I'm in. Sorry. I'm still terrified, but excited. Don't worry. When we have our kickoff call on Friday, we will, you'll feel excited and good. Don't worry. I've got you. Any other questions? Any other questions at all before I log off? I'm going to just wait a second. I'm going to drink some water. Awesome. Any hesitations? So I know some of you, like Samaya mentioned, timing wise, she's not sure. So that's, I can't do that. Jenica, let me go back to the slide here. So if you click on the link, it'll give you all that information, but I will share it again. So, can you see it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can do 3 monthly payments of $275 US, or you can do a one-time payment of $787, and that gives you a discount of $38. And then if you use the coupon code VCK5, you'll get an additional $20 off. And there's still a couple of them left. So there we are. So yeah, so if you click on that link, there's lots more information on there. It goes into detail again. So if I went through anything a little bit too quickly, I apologize, but it's all on the sales page. So there's that link right here at the bottom of my screen. It's a little green link that says join VCK 5.0 now. Like I said, this will probably be the last one for a while, and most definitely the last one of this with this amount of support in it. While I transition into some different, more higher ticket offerings for more experienced VAs or just like the next level of virtual assistants. So I'm really excited to share that information with you guys too. But it might be a prerequisite to have to take this program before going into that program, just so you know. So if you're like, oh, like I think like the next level might be where I need to be, I want you to have this as a foundation because it has, I want to make sure that we all are working with the same core foundation as we move into the next level of business. So anything else? I'm so excited. I love launch weeks. Or I guess they're called open door weeks, I should call them. I feel like they're not like an official launch. It's just like opening the doors again. Awesome, Hina. I'll see you Friday. Yay. Awesome. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I will log off. Just a reminder again, you can hit me up on Instagram if you want to kind of chat or ask more detailed questions or work through anything. That's totally cool. Otherwise, this will be it. Okay, yeah, so you hop on my Instagram and let's have a little chat. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Like I'm surprised so many of you guys stayed this long. Like it usually doesn't go over this long. So, but thank you so much for being here, you guys, and have a great rest of your day. And I hope to connect with you. Ina says it's 1 a.m. there. Well, you are just a diehard, dedicated student, and I love it. That's my commitment. I love it. Awesome. Okay, well, have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I hope to see you really soon. Okay, bye.